Joining us now this morning to talk more about the issue is the head of the Congress of Traditional Leaders of South Africa, and that is Inkosi Phathekile Holomisa, joining us on the line. A very good morning to you, Inkosi Phathekile. Thank you very much for joining us. Please tell us whether we refer to him as a controversial king, but essentially it's King Dalindyebo. Does he have the right to threaten Mandla Mandela and wanting to revoke the traditional authority that Mandla Mandela has?
Well, like everybody else who has been aggrieved by the actions of another person, he would have a right to lay a complaint against Inkosi Mandela. He does not have the right to simply summarily dismiss him from his position or revoke his powers. As I say, a complaint has to be laid against Inkosi Mandela, and then it would be listened to by the family of the Mandela family. Thereafter, it has to be taken to the traditional council of which he is head. From there, it will be taken to the royal council of the king, which is made up of the king himself, as well as all the traditional leaders of the area. It is only after a discussion has been held and all these processes have been gone through that the king will make the final pronouncement. He cannot do that before all of those processes have been followed.
Inkosi, could you give us an indication as to whether you have any idea whether the process is going to be followed, given the fact that the king Dalindyebo has indicated that this is his wish?
Well, if he is interested in ensuring that his wish is respected or is achieved, he has to follow that process. If he doesn't follow that process, I think Inkosi Mandla will be in a position to resist his wish.
Inkosi, if you could also just give us an update as to the talks that are going on. And of course, we spoke to you last week when Mandla Mandela came out with his press briefing. What is the update thus far? What has ensued over the last few days?
Well, I do not know. As I say, I've been traveling around. Even as we speak, I'm out of the country. So even yesterday's meeting that was held in Bumbane, I couldn't attend it because of my travels. So I do not know, therefore, whether the meeting that had been said was going to be called on the 8th by the Ngubengcuka House has been called, so that all of these issues that are rising from within the House of Mandela, they can be addressed. I don't really know.
Inkosi, do you think are you of the view that Mandla Mandela's chiefdom is under threat at this point in time? What is your assessment of the situation?
Well, I don't think so, because you see, if there are mistakes that have been committed by Inkosi Mandla, he can be corrected on that. It's only when there are gross violations of customs and traditions that the position of someone who is in the position of Mandla could be threatened. And again, there are processes there. You don't just take a decision and apply it arbitrarily. His side also has to be heard. As you are aware, he's complaining that the court, in the matter of the exhumation of the remains of his parents, and basically his parents, has not given him the chance to be heard.
Inkosi, I mean, when we look at the exhumation of the remains of his family, as you alluded to now, would that be viewed as a gross violation, or does that not fall under the gross violation sphere when you look at what happens on the traditional front?
Well, again, it would depend on whether indeed he did what he said to have done without following the proper procedures, without there having first been consultation with the relevant people within the family and so on.
Inkosi, is there some kind of investigation that will be underway to take a look at if there was any type of gross violation that occurred? And one would assume that obviously the exhumation being top of the agenda, what else would fall under gross violation?
Yeah, well, at the moment, I don't have any example that I can cite. But what I'm saying is that if anyone feels aggrieved, be it the king himself, who is also a member of the clan, or any of the members of the Mandela House, they have to lay a complaint, first of all, against the family, to the family, and then to the traditional council, and further up to the king. And then again, because we're a constitutional state, The king has the right to appoint and dismiss a traditional leader on fair grounds, having followed all of these processes. But then the government itself also has a role to play, because once you are appointed, according to tradition, you have to be given a certificate of authority by the government. So the government also must be satisfied that the processes have been followed and that Mandla Inkosi has indeed violated the relevant laws and customs.
And so if you could give us an indication as to how many complaints need to come through for there to be an investigation. Would one from King Dalinyebo be enough for an investigation to then take place?
Well, any complaint desires to be heard by the relevant structure. It doesn't have to be any number. Some complaints can be resolved at the earlier stages, or in the intermediate stages, and so on.
All right, thank you very much, Inkosi, for joining us this morning. Good to have you on eNCA. Much appreciated for taking time out to speak with us. And that was the leader of the Congress of Traditional Leaders of South Africa, Inkosi Phathekile Holomisa, joining us on the line from Namibia.
News that moves. eNCA.com.